Hi everyone, welcome back to a new video, and today we're going to be going through all of the official releases so far for Marvel Phases 5 and 6 from last night at San Diego Comic-Con. We're going through them. We've got a slight little synopsis, but there's an awful lot of content. Now the fact that Marvel is going on streaming service as well as the films, we have a lot more content than we were used to getting. What ended up being 2 to 3 films a year, sometimes 4, is now standard 3-film release, as well as streaming service shows, usually around 6 episodes. So there's pretty much year-long constant Marvel content, and so far it seems Phase 4 was the testing ground for that. And for me personally, it's been very much a year of misses. Phase 4 officially wraps up with Wakanda Forever in November, and from this phase nothing's really been established, nothing new's happened, no new big threats there. If anything, it's just been internal squabbling with each other rather than what's coming next. Other than Thor might have had a big threat, but it was just Christian Bale with a load of talcum powder on him. That wasn't really that threatening in the end because it was just a big massive joke, just like that entire film. So we're going to be looking at the overall landscape of the future of Marvel. You can see here from this picture, this is just Phase 5 in itself. We were used to seeing this picture as an entire phase, like Phase 2 or Phase 3, which would span multiple years. This is essentially 2 years, from February 23rd up until July 24. So we'll be going through in order. Over the kind guys over at Polygon put an article out, pretty much putting it from starting point of Phase 5. So we're starting with Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. I don't mind the Ant-Man films. I know some people sort of fob them off as low-tier, D-grade sort of action superhero films, but for me, I found them enjoyable. I really liked the way that the original one was shot, how they got that micro photography got down when he was down in ant size. The humour's fine. It's not too over the top like Thor is or Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, it was fine, it was passable. Paul Rudd's a nice guy. Evangeline Lilly is fine. Like, she's not too threatening with like the establishment of like the male hero. It's like, this feels like a perfect balance of male female heroes, whereas some of the Marvel films recently feel like they've been pushing maybe a bit too heavy on the female, whereas Ant-Man and the Wasp, for me, the last film, felt quite balanced. And it's good getting Michael Douglas, Michelle Pfeiffer back. I wouldn't mind some kind of flashbacks to like the 60s of showing those two in the prime. Like, with the way de-aging's going, you could do a TV show based on those two original ones. So, synopsis for this one brings them back. New to this particular mini franchise, Catherine Newton. I'm not sure who she is. Oh wait, is she the girl that we saw from Endgame? So she's playing Scott's now older daughter. Kang the Conqueror, who we will see, is going to be built up as the big new bad, which is kind of strange because coming off of Loki, I didn't feel any threat whatsoever from this guy. Not like Thanos, who seemed to have a presence, not just in stature and look, but just vocally and how he spoke and intimidated people. Like, he looks like a threat, whereas Kang kind of just likes just a fat bloke, semi-fat bloke, to be honest. A bit different version than the one showed in Loki, hopefully. Like, that's fine, but if they're going to keep retconning characters in one TV show is a comedy slapstick character, in another show is going to be serious, in another show it'll be slightly different. It's like, kind of get your act together. I'm surprised I never get Bill Murray. Why not? Who knows what he'll do? He'll probably just be Bill Murray. He could be a CGI character, who knows? So Scott Langdon saves the universe, so he's taking a lot of credit for that. So he's taking some time to himself and writing a book. Alright. We already know that Miss Marvel. We already know from the Miss Marvel podcast. What could go wrong? So it does seem since the end of Endgame, the Avengers have dispersed, kind of not stayed in touch with each other. Maybe not. It's a bit of a strange write-up. Save the Universe is just taking time off. The first Disney Plus show, we get Secret Invasion, which was a really great crossover back in 2005, 2006, maybe. I'm not quite sure. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. I have it here. Big old Secret Invasion. Bendis. 2008. Oh, a lot later than I thought, but yes, this, if you've not read this, really good. Will it be anything like this in the TV show? Of course not. Of course not. But this would be a really great way to potentially bring in and recasting Tony Stark and Steve Rogers. If Marvel never do this, they've got 60, 70 years of character development and storylines for Tony Stark and Steve Rogers thrown away just for the next character. Like, it'd be a shame. But Secret Invasion would be a great way to start retconning some potential past mistakes they may have done, or ways to bring people back. We'd have to bring Robert Downey Jr. back. He's too old. He's like almost 60 at this point. You know, Chris Evans, I think if you drove an awful lot of money to his house, he may do it, but recast them. You know, the characters, I'm sure they'll put a quip on screen like, oh, you look a bit different to what I'm used to. You know, they'll do something like that, but bring them back. So we see Nick Fury and Talos. We met Talos, Ben Mendelsohn's character, in Miss Marvel, the first film. The less we say about that, the better. So, in the comics, it's about a Skrull invasion of Earth. They've been taking our heroes and putting Skrulls in the place, because Skrulls can shapeshift, and they've been living the life of the heroes, sort of infiltrating that world. And one day, I think it's Spider-Woman is the first one to be killed, and when the other heroes, all the Avengers, who else? Fantastic Four, X-Men, when they all find out and go see the body and see that it's Spider-Woman in the suit, but the face is a Skrull. And it's like, oh, who else is there? And it's a good cat and mouse game of who else could it be and what do they want, but I don't think this is going to follow that as much, because the Skrulls came off as quite sympathetic in Miss Marvel and not the sort of dastardly villains that they are, more so in the comic books, but we'll see. We've got Emilia Clarke, Olivia Colman in this. Fine, you know. They're both very bland. Emilia Clarke, while pretty, bland. She's not a great actress, we know that. Olivia Colman, she'll be over the top, really over the top expressions, probably a comedic actress, that's what she seems to be. She does do serious roles, but you're always getting the hint of she's playing it sarcastically. The series directed by some guy, and written by, the guy who wrote Mr. Robot. That gives me some hope, because that show was actually pretty good. Well, for the most part, first couple of seasons, super strong. Then it kind of, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 coming in May. So, February. We've already got February, spring, May. So it's like one thing. As soon as that's out of people's minds, the next thing's come. As soon as that's over, and this will be 6 to 8 episodes, usually about 6 for Disney Plus. Straight into Guardians Volume 3. James Gunn's returning, everyone's returning. This particular version won't focus on Rocket. Don't know about that. And yes, we get Will Poulter as Adam Warlock, and more Baby Groot with Baby Rocket. And a Baby Rocket. Alright, well, they've done Baby Groot, they might as well do Baby Rocket. This guy as Adam Warlock, I am not sure about, because he seems young. They've not done Adam Warlock properly from the comics, so this will be a completely new, different version. This guy I think he's in his early 30s. He's not the most handsome of men. I've always thought he looks rather pigly. So who knows how that'll go. It's Guardians, so it'll have its odd emotional moment undercut with humour. because that's what James Gunn brought to the Marvel Universe. Thanks, James. That's great. We've seen what's happened with Marvel over the past few years with their stamping in of comedy. In the summer of 23, we get Echo, which is follow-up to the Hawkeye show, which I will admit I have not seen. I do know of Echo from the Daredevil comic books back in the day. Can't remember where she started. I have over a shelf and a half of Daredevil, starting off with the Kevin Smith run. So I do know of Echo in the comics. So potentially intrigued, more so intrigued for the fact that it is bringing back Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox, which is great, but also when it comes to Disney Plus shows, I don't know if these characters are going to get awfully watered down from the characters we know from Netflix. Will Netflix even be classed as real continuity, or will it be classed as sort of not a different universe, but these events may have happened in this interpretation? I do feel we'll get a watered down version of Daredevil, but I'd quite like Marvel to acknowledge that there is adult storylines out there, and maybe it would be good to move into a Marvel Knights type of series, or even, you know, an offshoot. So you can have your Marvel MCU, you can have your Marvel Knights, you could put Wolverine in there, you could put Deadpool in there, the Netflix people in there, and sort of have that story. But I think they're trying to go with the everyone is, you know, all audiences are welcome, you know, from tiny infants to adult infants. We get Loki Season 2. Wasn't particularly fussed with this show, to be honest. I scanned watched it at best to see what was going on, to pick up parts. I think Tom Hiddleston as Loki is really long in the tooth now and played out too much. Loki was barely the main character in his own show. It was Loki in name only, really. It more focused on other versions of Loki, more so the female version of Loki. So she'll be back, probably. I don't know. It'll probably be another redemption arc for Loki, so who knows, in the end he'll be just another sympathetic villain who is not really bad, just misunderstood. That seems to be the Marvel way. Summer 23, we get the Marvels, not Captain Marvel 2, the Marvels. So we're getting Brie Larson, we're getting Monica Rambeau, and we're getting Miss Marvel all coming together. Don't know how that'll play out. Will it be a big cosmic adventure? Will it be like a girl's road trip somewhere? I don't know. But I do know something. Probably won't be watching this one. This is probably one of those on the list that I am very little interested in whatsoever. I did go see the original film because the girl I was dating at the time wanted to go see it, and she promised some services afterwards for putting me through it, so I obliged. I almost fell asleep in the cinemas. It wasn't fun. Something that could be fun. The Blade film, actual film. Blade is happening. One of the most brilliant superhero movies of all time. It's getting a reboot. Yes, the original Blade, the first Blade film, is still great now. Does it hold up? No, it feels of its time. Feels definitely of its time. More so because of the music and the way that it's shot and things. But it still holds up as a brilliant action superhero film. The other two, it kind of got watered down the more and more it went on. I'm interested in this, but then I'm also a lot of these adult characters, I'm very apprehensive of how they're going to handle them. Are we going to get any actual blood, guts, violence, language? It's like I don't want to see Blade sort of handing lollipops to kids on the streets and you know getting cats out of trees. I want something that feels like it's made for adults. Everything at the moment feels from Disney, it's just like, oh, family fun, 10-year-olds can watch it, adults can watch it because there'll be some innuendo things thrown in there too. But I wouldn't mind some evolution in the Marvel realm that you get things for everyone. They love to throw the term inclusive around, but throw that in your content as well so we can get some inclusive things for adults, like something we can all get loving. But then, talking of things we can all love, Ironheart, we will be seeing her. We saw her appear slightly in the Wakanda Forever trailer, crafting the little heart symbol that I think they've used for the little icon for the show. So Riri Williams, a young engineering student, makes a super iron suit, much like Iron Man. Oh, you're missing out some key points here, Polygon. She actually breaks in, or I think she either breaks in or, unbeknownst to her, breaks into a Tony Stark Iron Man hideout and borrows some of his technology to make her own thing. So, you missed some things out there. So she'll be first seen in Wakanda Forever, which I think when I went through that film is they're gonna pass over the fact that she got some of her tech and stuff originally from Tony Stark. She's another young, brilliant mind who's probably better than Tony Stark. She'll probably be up there with Shiri as the best engineers in the world ever, even though they're both 14. Winter 23. Just got to winter. Agatha Harkness, Coven of Chaos. No thanks. I thought WandaVision fell off a cliff pretty damn quick. The first couple of episodes, I was into it. By the end of maybe episode 3, maybe the start of 4, somewhere around there, kind of just didn't care anymore. So, am I bothered about a spin-off of who turned into the bad guy in that show? No. Not really. Don't see where it'll go. Don't really care. It'll probably just be another case of her helping Wanda redeem herself, or maybe bringing Wanda more to the dark side. Don't know. Can't say I care. Right. So that's Winter 23. Into Spring 24, we get Daredevil Born Again. That's the title of the show. Charlie Cox is back. Saw him last in Spider-Man as Spider-Man's potential lawyer. Again, like I said at the beginning, I'm not always going to be in the new She-Hulk show as well. Yeah, well, they're both lawyers. I can see that. I don't know how it's going to work. I don't want him to get. You can water Daredevil down to a certain degree, but because of the world he lives in, the crime, the mafia stuff, it's like you can't really water that too much down without it becoming just a bit silly. So I'm on the fence with this one. I will give it a try. I will watch a few of the episodes and watch the trailers and see how it evolves, because I really, really enjoyed Daredevil. He's one of my favourite comic book characters. Like I said, I've got over a shelf and a half of the Devil run, starting at the Kevin Smith, working all the way through to some of the Mark Waid stuff. So good few years of reading there. Brilliant character. Loved the Netflix shows, all of them, all 3 seasons. I loved them all. Yes, the couple of episodes here and there could have been cut. Some of the storylines could have been trimmed down, or but overall, Daredevil is probably one of the best products Marvel's ever made. It would be nice if they brought some of the back end talent in as well, some of the writers, potential producers, showrunners, whatnot. I don't know. May 24, we get the brand new Captain America, Sam Wilson. So this is Captain America 4, New World Order. So I don't know about this. You've probably seen behind me here. Got quite a Captain America shelf going on. I've got a 1-to-1 scale replica of his helmet. I've got some Iron Studios statues. I'm probably going to be getting Hot Toys soon. Got the Shield there. He's one of my favourite characters. Got pretty much full shelf back there. Captain America things. I think this stuff came too soon. The passing of the mantle, I think, came too soon. We could have easily seen a few more films of Captain America or appearance of him, but in the grand scheme of Phase 1 up until Endgame, I think Cap had a decent story. I don't really like his overall ending and his choices he made. It feels a little bit selfish for Cap, who doesn't really ever come across as a selfish person. He's always putting others before himself. So for the overall end sacrifice to be like, I'm going to take something for myself, doesn't really feel like Cap to me. But passing on the mantle, I wouldn't have minded seeing Bucky get it first, as a way for Bucky's redemption and the public to maybe buy into Bucky being a good person, have a series with him as Cap, or even just, Sam and Bucky, carrying on the mantle of Captain America, not being called Captain America, but both maybe having a shield and carrying on the legacy of what that character stood for. I would have liked to see Bucky as like a good redemption arc for him. So, potentially for the public of the world to see like, oh, this guy actually was, had his mind ridden for years, and he is actually overall a good person, as Steve Rogers has always said. Then you could pass the mantle on to Sam, but they've gone over to that. I kind of didn't really enjoy the show too much. I gave 2 episodes a watch, and I'm just not into the chemistry of these 2 characters together. I know it's supposed to be a buddy cop thing of like, one's going to be straight-laced, one's going to be saying stuff, they're always going to be batting off each other, there's always going to be some animosity, but then they do like each other, or they do care about each other, but they can't quite show that. It's like, just not, yeah. And the overall messaging of the show was a little on the head and a little bit, come on, do we need this? This could be interesting. The Thunderbolts, this could be very interesting, because the Thunderbolts has always been a bunch of anti-heroes taking on the mantle of like doing the work the Avengers wouldn't do, almost like the X-Force is for the X-Men, and is mostly made up of bad guys. The last run I remember reading parts of had Rolk, Sergeant Ross, or I can't remember where he was, but Rolk, Ross from the Hulk films. I thought it was we saw him in Infinity War or Endgame. He hadn't quite turned yet, but you never know. I think we had Punisher in there, we had War Machine in there, we had Wolverine's son in there from Dark Reign. Can't remember his name now. I didn't really like that character, but it's usually kind of bad guys doing semi-good stuff, to be honest. It's almost like, the boys kind of, they're all bastards, but they're trying to do good. Or even more so, it'd be similar to like Suicide Squad, where it is like a bunch of ragtag sort of bad guys doing good things. This could be interesting, but it depends who they're going to put into it. Do I see them bringing the Punisher back into this world? No, not today. Not with how the Punisher symbol is kind of used in some of the worlds in America. I could see Disney trying to stay as clear as that as possible. So I don't know. This could be interesting. It's definitely one to keep your eye on. Phase 6 now, so all that content for a good year and a half is Phase 5. Phase 6, we will be getting Fantastic Four. I have no idea how this will go. The original films were never that good. The reboot was never that good. I'll be honest, I've given the comics a run now and again. I read the Ultimate Fantastic Four when I first got into comics, because I got into comics through Ultimate Spider-Man. Starting there, then Ultimate Daredevil, Ultimate X-Men, Daredevil, Fantastic Four. Tried giving the whole Ultimate world a go. I've never quite lynched onto these characters. So for me, like, if it's good, if it's bad, I'm not that fussed, because they're not characters I have a deep connection with, but be interesting to see where they go. And then, for the first time in, this will be 6, maybe 7 years, we'll have an Avengers film. Avengers, Destiny of Kang. See, just a bit of a fat bloke, Kang. This will be interesting in a couple of ways. One, who are the Avengers? Who are the Avengers now? Is it going to be Avengers in name only? And really, it's the Young Avengers, with maybe some legacy characters in there, like Ant-Man. Will he be the oldest guy there? Will War Machine be in there? No, actually, War Machine will probably be in Thunderbolts. Thor, will he be around? Dunno. Doubt it. And how they're going to make Kang a threat, because I didn't feel Kang being a threat in any of the parts that I saw of him while scan watching Loki. So they're going to have to do an awful lot of character development over the next 2 years, 2 and a bit years, to get this guy feeling like any sort of threat whatsoever. Because right now, I don't buy it. And then at the end of the year, so in 1 year, we're going to get 2 Avengers films. Secret Wars. Did I get that? Did I read that? don't think I did. No, I've probably dipped out of them. I might have dipped out of them by then. This is strange. Normally Avengers have been tentpole big build-up films that come every couple of years when you've had a few different characters building up a story and you get the big bad sort of interweaving around that, bringing something together in an Avengers film, like the first film, like that entire first phase with Captain America, Iron Man 1 and 2, and Thor, straight into, Incredible Hulk? Or was it called the Hulk? I can't remember now. And Incredible Hulk. People tend to forget about that. I actually really like, I did rewatch all phase 1 a while ago. I still really like the look of that Hulk, that really big, muscular Hulk. The one we have now, it kind of looks like that guy that let himself go. Doesn't train anymore, but still got that mass. That's what it looks like to me. I know he looks more like the comic book character, but as a real world character, I enjoy the Edward Norton look more. But yeah, seeing we're getting 2 Avengers films in 1 year is slightly worrying, because it's like, it feels like potentially the watering down of the Avengers brand, and it'll no longer be that kind of tentpole big event where in the comics, things like Secret Wars, I've got Secret War. Yeah, Secret War, Civil War, New Avengers, Illuminati, Siege, Fear itself. What else have I got? Avengers versus X-Men, Age of Ultron, Infinity Saga. These were all big key events that would happen over all other characters. So you'd have stories going on in Spider-Man, in X-Men, in Iron Man, in Captain America, issues that would tie together with the overall ongoing 1 of 8 like this is, or 1 to 12 series. So you'd get the main story, but to get the full roundup of the story, you got to read all these other things. And that's what these films started to be like. You watch all the Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy, and they're all tied together into something. Whereas this could be, we're just making Avengers films as big team up things because we don't have much going on. Like, what's going to happen in between May and November to get to Secret Wars? Or is it just going to be the aftermath of Kang Dynasty turns into Secret Wars, which, will it have anything to do with Secret Invasion in any way? Will there be, mixing and matching a few things here? I don't know. But like I said at the beginning, like just going back to this image, there is an awful lot of content here, and that's just for 1 year. So we haven't got the full scope of Phase 6 yet. There'll be definitely loads of TV shows and things in there. I do potentially see some films being slotted in between May 25 and November 25. What could that be? Could it be a Doctor Strange 3? Maybe. Could it be a Thor 6? Oh wait, Thor 5. Yeah, Thor 5. Maybe. But having 2 Avengers films in 1 year seems a lot. I know we got Infinity War and Endgame back to back, a year apart. But there was things in between them that built up to that. Right now we don't really know what that threat will be. And to be honest, like I've said a few times, I don't see Kang as that threat. The next big threat to me would be a Galactus or something like that. Especially if we're going to be bringing the Fantastic Four in. Doctor Doom will some play something in there. So could we get an anti-Illuminati where you're getting like Kang, Doctor Doom, and maybe some lower level bad guys all coming together to be a threat? Like what would it be in the Spider-Man world? I can't remember the name of it. With his Rogues Gallery when they all came together, the Sinister Six, something like that. I don't know. I've got Spider-Man. I'm sure they'll be able to have slotted in another Tom Holland Spider-Man film by 2025. I'm sure. I know he wanted to take a break from playing Spider-Man, but, in 3 years, I'm sure they could have slotted another one in there. So, for now, yeah, there's an awful lot of Marvel content. There's going to be a load of TV shows in there. It's nice to see a roadmap. My only concern is the big bad seems to be Kang, because we've got an Avengers film with him in the subtitle. and building him up as a big bad. After seeing what he was like in Loki, I don't feel that threat, and I've parroted that a couple of times now. Seeing how that might develop, who knows? I do feel Phase 4 has been hit or miss, so hopefully Feige and the guys over at Marvel, the team over at Marvel, I'm sorry for using gendered language, have learnt some lessons on maybe how not to do things. For me, I'd like to see something a bit more serious. I think the Marvel formula right now has got a bit paint by numbers, is maybe a bit too focused and heavy on the comedy, which generally doesn't land. I tried watching Thor for the second time today because I'm gonna try to do a review of it, and I just had to stop. It was awful the first time. I'm trying to watch it the second time to refresh my mind, to put some notes down, to do a review of it and get some screenshots. It was just painful. I literally looked at the screen at one point and just said, "Shut the fuck up," turned it off. It was annoying me that much. So I'm hoping we start to see something a bit more serious in some aspects, some kind of threat that makes it feel like there are some stakes involved, because at the moment it kind of doesn't. It kind of feels like, you know, everything's a bit wishy-washy, one and done. You know, everyone's redeemable. In real life, some people are, but for the major part, no, not everyone is redeemable. Not everyone can be misunderstood and treated differently and, you know, can come around to being a good guy in the end. Not everyone's going to be like that. So, I don't know. We'll see. I'm kind of on the fence for a lot of it. I do feel like I've got Marvel fatigue, especially after the high of Infinity and Endgame. I think Infinity was the peak. Endgame was great, but it didn't hit the peak of Infinity. So I do think I am kind of fatigued on Marvel, which is strange for the fact that I read the comics for over 15 years and I loved going into the comic book shop every new comic book day. I think it was Tuesday and then it was Thursday. That smell of fresh new comics, coming home and reading new comics was my favourite time of the week. And now feeling that Marvel fatigue of when shows are coming out and being like, I think I might give this a miss. That, if you'd have asked me that like 5 years ago, there's going to be Marvel TV shows every couple of months, I'd have been like, fantastic, brilliant. Couldn't ask for anything better. But now I'm kind of like, oof, is it going to be any good though? That's my overall thought. Hopefully, yes, but who knows? We'll find out. So let me know your thoughts below. Which are the ones you're looking out for most? I'm just going to scan through these again and give you mine quickly. Ant-Man and Wasp, I'll give that a watch. I think they're a good couple together. I think they work well together. I really enjoy the visual style of those films, so I'll give that a watch. Potential Secret Invasion, but I don't think they'll do it justice. And then we've got Blade. Looking forward to that scene, but looking forward to seeing how they convert that to the Marvel MCU world. Daredevil, Thunderbolts, and potentially the 2 Avengers films. So out of all of that, there's like maybe a fifth of what I'm looking forward to. So yes, let me know your thoughts below. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, do all that algorithm stuff. Catch you guys in the next video.